started. Please welcome to the podium the third seeded and ninth ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is making its fifth trip to the NCAA tournament in their 43-year history. They've earned 4 of those 5 berths in the last 5 seasons, and this is their first appearance at a Manchester regional. At the podium for Notre Dame is 6-year head coach Jeff Jackson, senior assistant captain Ryan Gensel, and senior captain Joe Lavin. If you have any requests for the student athletes outside of this press conference, please contact Notre Dame Sports Information Director Tim Connor. We'll start with opening comments from Coach Jackson, followed by questions for the student athletes. Once those are all answered, we'll dismiss the student athletes and take questions for Coach Jackson. Please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone over to you and just state your name and affiliation. And that'd be good. Coach Jackson, if you want to start with opening comments.
Well, we're obviously excited to be here. I think it's a great opportunity anytime you get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. Our program, since I started 6 years ago, made that first step in our second year together, and learned some lessons that year, having a tough double overtime game to Alabama Huntsville before we ended up losing the second night to Michigan State. And then the following year, I think less was expected out of us. We ended up having success playing out in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and knocking off a very good UNH team and also Michigan State on the way to making our first Frozen Four appearance. So, I mean, our seniors have had the opportunity to experience being in this event a few times. Other than our seniors, it's kind of more of a rarity, just because we have 15 or 16 underclassmen playing every night, with 10 or 11 of them being freshmen. So it's been an interesting year for us as far as the performance of these guys, exceeding our expectations and certainly earning the opportunity to be at this event. And I think that if we play it the way we're capable of, we're certainly capable of winning against anyone. So we're excited and looking forward to it.
We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Hi guys, my name is Rich Thompson from the Boston Herald. Could you just follow up on what kind of impact did this freshman class have, and what role did you guys play in bringing them along?
Well, everybody asks us a lot of questions about leadership and, how we did it with so many young guys. But, these guys have been great. They're all, came from the best leagues, and they're the best players on their team. They're all leaders as well. So, it's really easy when you have a room full of leaders. I think people think we do a little bit more than we actually do. I just think we get along so well that things kind of fall into place. So we're just going to keep things going like they've been going, keep things loose, and we'll just move forward.
And to go along with that, they kind of brought in some enthusiasm that, the upperclassmen wanted to make sure that they could come to the rink every day and still enjoy it and have fun. We know at the University of Notre Dame, academics is a pretty tough load, but we wanted to make sure when they came to the rink each day that they could drop that for a couple hours they were there and enjoy their time. So, it's been a blast being with these guys so far.
More questions for the student athletes? Alan.
Alan Wessels from the Union Leader. What do you guys know about Merrimack? What have you seen about them? What do you expect out of them?
Well, we know they're a hard-working group. They obviously play in a different league with a little bit different style. They have a very unique style that we've looked at a lot this week. Coach really prepares us really well. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we're doing so well and we're so prepared. So I just think we need to worry about what we need to do. Obviously they're a great skating team and they play kind of a back and forth style. So if we're able to bring a lot of energy that we've been bring a lot of speed, I think we should fare well. No, they're not very similar to anybody we play. I think that's why we did so much video and we prepare a lot for them. So, they're also an older group. We have a younger group. So we're just going to have to, use our energy to our advantage.
Mike McNamara. Warnick from College Hockey News and Merrimack Radio. Joe, you have a unique perspective having played in both Hockey East and CCHA. Can you compare and contrast the styles both of the league and perhaps of Merrimack as well?
Yeah, well, I think Hockey East is pretty up and down the ice. Some games you can get into a bit of a track meet. All the teams are great skating teams. CCHA is a little bit more structured in terms of playing style and system-wise. But I think that's the reason why teams like us in Michigan and Miami do so well is because they're able to use their structure and their speed at the same time. So I think it's going to be really important for us to keep that structure because I think it's going to help us in the end.
Darren Pritchett, Notre Dame Radio. Ryan, I want to ask you, what can you grab from your experience as a freshman in the NCAA tournament that can help you and the team throughout this process?
Well, the main thing is getting off to a great start is vital for us. Past years, when my freshman year when we had success, we got onto the opponent very quickly, and especially with the younger team, confidence is a big factor. So setting the tone early in the game will be huge for us.
More questions for the student athletes? All right, Ryan, Joe, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach Jackson?
Hi, Coach. Could you just comment on the job Mark Dennehy has done, basically taking this program from the ashes to the national stage?
I can't say how impressed I've been with the job he's done. The slow progression in the early couple of years reminds me of what I started off with, at Notre Dame. I mean, our first year together was off of a pretty bad year the year prior, and it's a matter of changing the culture, bringing in the right type of student athletes for your university and for your core values as a coach. And obviously Mark did a great job in both of those areas, is a change in the culture and then bringing in the right type of athletes. And now it's evident in the way they play, their depth. But just I think that there's some similarities between us, but there's also, from what I watch, there's some similarities to our teams that I had at Lake Superior. And so he's done a tremendous job, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. It's not easy. When you're at Merrimack, it was the same way when I was at Lake Superior. You're competing against a lot of big-name dogs, and he obviously is making Merrimack a big name, which is, a credit to him.
Coach, the last time you would have coached against Merrimack would have been that series in 1988. I'm just wondering what you remember from that series. I know it was a long time ago.
I was asked that question by the radio announcer last week, and I know I'm getting old because I can't remember. I think I have to be honest, too, is that when you're an assistant coach, sometimes you forget things more than when you were the head coach. I could probably tell you everything that happened when I was head coach at Lake Superior, but I can't remember some of those things, so I apologize. We played them 5 times this year. We played them 4 times in the regular season, split with them in those 4 games. But when I saw them last week in Detroit, some of it was based on how we performed, but I saw a different team. I saw a team that had that eye of the tiger, because it's the first time they've won in Detroit. That senior class is just outstanding. Those 3 players up front, especially Camper and Maley and Canone, are they're all different types of players, but I'll tell you what, they're 3 of the best players in college hockey, and they lead the way. And it's not like they don't have other great players, but those 3 guys you can definitely identify when they're on the ice. So, and when I saw them last weekend, the way they played against us, and then the following night against Western, is that they had that man on a mission look in their eyes.
Question, like you said, with all the top dogs that there are in the Midwest, how were you able to attract the kind of talent, 10 NHL draft picks, to build this program? How do you sell Notre Dame?
You don't have to sell Notre Dame. The university sells itself. I think when they brought Paul and myself in, and we retained one of the best recruiters in college hockey with Andy, I think that made a statement to a lot of people that Notre Dame was going to be serious about hockey, and the new arena that's going to open next October made that stamp of approval on the hockey program itself. So I think it hasn't been that hard. I mean, I have an exceptional assistant coach that may be the best recruiter in college hockey, in my opinion. But it requires a certain type of student athlete at Notre Dame, because we're not going to get in a three-point student. So we have to make sure that we're recruiting kids that are academically, socially, and obviously athletically capable of helping us, win a championship, and at the same time earn a degree from Notre Dame. And that's important to the university, and it's important to me personally.
Those standards kind of shrink the pool.
They do shrink the pool, but I also think that there's a benefit in the fact that when you get a kid that's a 3.5 student or a 32 ACT, I mean, you get a kid that's pretty well balanced, motivated, and certainly I've learned that they can be detail oriented. Even when I ask them every once in a while, I'll give them a little project, a written project, and usually comes back to me typed and with footnotes. And if I have a conversation with them outside of hockey, sometimes they're talking over my head. So I think that for me, it's been a lot of fun, because you're dealing with a lot of intelligent kids that are highly motivated too.
Coach, you talked about your underclassmen playing a big role every night. Are there any adjustments you have to make as a coach when you have freshmen coming in like this and playing such a big role in your success?
I was fortunate in 1987, 88 with Frank Anzalone with Lake Superior. We had 12 freshmen on that team. They won a national championship that year in 88. I recruited that class, and I was very fortunate to coach them in their senior year as the head coach. So I got a feel for that firsthand when I was there, and you can, with enthusiasm, it makes it a lot easier day to day in some ways, but with uncontained enthusiasm, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. So in every one of them, different ways you have to kind of grab a hold of and pull them back in once in a while in certain areas of their lives, whether it's athletics, academics, or even in almost any situation. So, but it's been they've made it. They re-energized me too, because of we had a tough year last year, and they brought a lot of energy to the locker room. I mean, this group is as close a group that I think I've ever had, and I think a lot of it has to do with these kids are not only good hockey players, but they're pretty humble kids too, because it's hard to come in and take ice time away from upperclassmen sometimes and not create envy. And they're humble enough to where that hasn't been an issue.
More questions for Coach Jackson? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.